Hey, this is Phil Lilly. I wanted to give you a fishing report for Lake Taneycomo. This is Tuesday, February 24th. I just boated up here. I'm up in the trophy area, about 3/4 of a mile below Lookout. And those that have been up here, the red house is just right up here. So there's a slight breeze. It kind of is blowing, kind of swirling a little bit, but for the most part it's coming out of the south. You can see there's a little chop on the water, not a whole lot, but it's a good chop. It's a good chop for fishing. When I boat up here, I have some ideas of what I'm going to use, but I don't really make up my mind until I get up here to see what the conditions are as far as wind and chop on the water and how much chop, what the lake level is. Even though water's off, a lot of times there's probably a 3 or 4 inch difference in water levels up here, and right now it's a little high. When it's off, for whatever reason, that the water level will vary just a little bit. So the shallow side of the lake, which is this side over here, it's just a little bit deeper, and 3 or 4 inches of water over on this side is a lot of water. Over here it really doesn't make any difference on the deep side. Shallow side, it does make a difference. So what I think I'm going to do, and when I pulled up here, I kind of pulled up on the shallow side. I saw a lot of fish moving out. So there's usually a good number of fish over on this flat. Most people fish the deep side and leave these fish alone. Even though I'm on the shallow side, I'm still in about 5 feet of water here. Of course, it gets shallower as I move up on the shallow side, but 2 or 3 foot of water is plenty of water for a trout to feed and swim and live in. And that's probably what I'm going to target over on this side. I've seen a few fish coming up and midging, taking little midges off the surface. So I'll probably get my fly rod and put a little zebra midge on and set it about 18 inches deep and start with that and fish this side. Now I've moved up on this flat, and there's fish down below me that are sipping midges off the surface, and they are in a foot or less of water. So instead of setting it at 18, I'm going to set it at about 12. Again, 6X tippet. I'm using a number 18 P&P with a gold bead head. A P&P is a primrose and pearl midge. Normally, we throw that P&P when there's sun out, and it's sun, but it's starting to get real shady a little later in the day. So if it doesn't work, I'll put a black on probably. But we'll see what happens here. Try not to move around and spook them. Oh, I can't see the float. Oh man. Oh, I see it now. And now I don't. Small ones start out. Well, I caught one on the P&P, but they just didn't seem like they wanted that lighter color. So I've gone to a black 16. I changed the color and the size with a little bigger indicator, hard indicator, because I was having a hard time seeing that indicator out in that white background and the chop. So see if they like this a little better. Little bigger rainbow. Still not very big. A little better fish. Pretty fish too. I tore up my midge. Now's the time I'm going to go back up and we're going to fish micro jigs. See what they think about micro jigs today. Okay, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I did pretty good on the midges, but I'm in the same area, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it up and use a little micro jig. This is a orange sculpin with a orange head, micro jig. About 4 foot of line, 6X tippet with a float, and I'm going to fish pretty much in the middle. Water's 4 or 5 foot deep out here. Micro jig, even though it costs a little more, they're deadly. They work really, really good for us up here, and the colors are either a brown or a gray. This sculpin, there's an olive and a ginger. Ginger is probably the olive, or the sculpin and the ginger are probably the best colors that we use. There's a couple of sizes, a regular micro jig and a micro. The micro is about what we use all the time, especially with the water off. We'll use a full micro if the water is running. Pink is a real good color if the water is running. We'll use that under a float, 6 to 7 feet. I've kind of lost my chop sitting here talking, chopping the waters down. I'm actually going to move down just about 50 feet, and because there's a little bit better chop rate right over here. So I'm just going to move down. Okay, just that little bit of move, a little bit of difference in that surface and this surface, it will produce fish a lot faster here than it will just down there where I was at. There, I just missed one. Just like that. It makes that big a difference. Caught quite a few on this micro, but nothing really to show off. Fish. They're all small and they're all about the same color. Okay, caught fish on a midge, micro jig. Now I'm going to try a scud. I'm going to set it about 4 feet deep. Going to be fishing water anywhere from 2 to 3 feet deep. I've got a number 12 200R scud. It's a gray scud. It's weighted. I want that scud to be on the bottom, so I want to make sure I've got my float set deep enough to where it's dragging the bottom. Small one. Well, I got one worthy of holding up to the camera, I think. If I have to mute the sound, I've got a couple pontoons below me and they're using really vulgar language, so I might have to mute the sound a little bit. Ready. It's got really pretty colors. Jackson. Oh, male. Look a scud. Okay, I'm going to throw a jig. In fact, I might get below those guys. Go down into below Fall Creek and throw a jig for a little bit before I go home. They bit good up here, just not really any size of fish. One 1/25 ounce brown orange head marabou jig. Under float about 4 feet. I'm below Fall Creek about a 1/4 mile or so. Fish here are starting to midge a little bit. Sun's going down, it's getting cold. Chop on the water is just about perfect for throwing a jig and float. Missed one. Ah. There you go. Okay. Tell you what, we've lost our chop. It's getting later in the evening, and the trout are really starting to midge pretty good, especially over on the shallow side again. And so I'm going to get my fly rod. I've got a scud on it. I'm going to put a midge on. I think I will. Okay, I'm going to target these fish that are midging over on this side. I've lost my chop completely. It's really feeding good. There might be some bigger fish over here. Got a number 16 black midge with a copper head. And it's a little fish, but fish. Small fish. A little better rainbow tip. At least today. They're far and few between. A lot of fish, but not really in size.